Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Texas successfully defunds Planned Parenthood and gives a roadmap for the rest of the country. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, Texas has done a unique approach to defunding Planned Parenthood. Some of these other cases have attempted to defund Planned Parenthood out of other federal dollars that go to women's health in those states. And at least one or maybe two courts have said you can't do that you can't just simply excise out Planned Parenthood from that federal dollars. And President Obama and the administration has been very pro-funding abortion and so has taken these states to task. But Texas did something unique and different, and Texas ultimately was affirmed by the Court of Appeals. Now Texas actually is defunding Planned Parenthood, and I think sets a roadmap for other states.
It absolutely does, and when you have the Washington Post, which is no bastion of conservatism, with an article titled "So You Want to Defund Planned Parenthood? Texas Give Other States a Roadmap." That's exactly right. Now, whether or not they can directly pull Planned Parenthood out and defund them through the Medicaid, Medicare, and all that remains to be seen. That still may be permissible. Some courts have ruled that they can't. Some have ruled that they can. That's tied up in legal wrangling. But the Fifth Circuit has come down and has told Texas, you figured out the way to do it. And that is Texas has created its own women's programming that they're funding, essentially pushing everybody out. So everybody, including Planned Parenthood. So that is a way to effectively change the entire makeup of women's health for mammograms and other women's services, stuff that Planned Parenthood isn't even involved in. It's an abortion mill.
Yeah, so Texas actually started to defund it by taking from this Medicaid program for women's health and taking Planned Parenthood out of that. But President Obama and the Obama administration pushed back and said that you can't take out a service like this. If you do, we'll disqualify you from receiving any federal funds. And so Texas, being Texas, said, fine, keep your money. We're going to create our own program. So they created their own state women's health program. Mm-hmm. And from their own program that doesn't get federal tax dollars, they fund different kinds of women's health and do not fund the Planned Parenthood. And Planned Parenthood filed suit. The Court of Appeals ruled in favor of Texas. They asked for the court to rehear the case, and the court declined, rejected Planned Parenthood's request. And so this decision stands, and Planned Parenthood will be cut out of Texas's funding for women's health programs. Which
is fantastic. And again, other states need to look at this. Other state legislators need to look at this and pass similar laws and start similar programs. Now, lest people be confused, now this doesn't mean that they are not going to get the federal dollars, that they will lose federal dollars. It simply means that they have moved those federal dollars elsewhere, away from the women's services. They'll still get their federal taxpayer dollars. They just won't be using them for the specific women's services. In other words, they just won't be using those federal dollars to give to Planned Parenthood. They'll be earmarking those federal dollars for other things because now they've started their own women's programs that push Planned Parenthood where they should be, to the fringes of the radical fringes. And this takes a lot of money away from Planned Parenthood. And the way that Planned Parenthood is in existence today, in large part, is through the hundreds of millions of dollars they get every year in our taxpayer dollars, our federal taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, they're the largest private abortion provider in the country, and they abort over 300 and some thousand babies every year in America. And much of that is through federal funding. Planned Parenthood gets federal funding, and of course, even if they don't use it directly on abortion, they're using it indirectly because that way they don't have to use their dollars to fund other non-abortion related issues. So they can fund and use their dollars over here and put their other dollars into abortion. Either way, we're funding directly or indirectly abortion. And this administration has been so pro-abortion. What we need to make sure about, both on the state level and the federal level, is that we continually make this a priority of our legislators and the Congress as well. Remember when we had a George W. Bush and he was president, we also had a Republican House and Senate. We still didn't defund Planned Parenthood. We've got to defund it both in Congress. We've got to defund it in the state level as well.
Well, when if you get a cut and you cut an artery, the way that you stop the bleeding is you apply a tourniquet up high above where the cut is. And so what Texas has effectively done here is they have, at least in Texas, they've stopped the bleeding by applying direct pressure on the cut in the state of Texas. However, what we need to apply a tourniquet up above where the bleeding is, and that's at the federal level. We have got to see now that the Congress move forward with a full-on defunding of Planned Parenthood at the federal level, make it illegal for federal taxpayer dollars to go to Planned Parenthood. Mike Pence and others in the past have tried. It's passed through Congress, had never in the past made it through the Senate. I think, and I hope and I pray that now we will see a Congress move forward with finalizing the defunding of Planned Parenthood at the federal level, applying a tourniquet and choking Planned Parenthood out, essentially.
And we back in the 2010 election, when there were significant changes in the electoral map all over the country, we have this bumper sticker called "Hold Their Feet to the Fire," and that doesn't apply just to 2010, but it applies to 2012. And every election, we need to hold our elected officials' feet to the fire and make sure that they take seriously that in America we want a culture of life, and we will not continue to tolerate the slaughter of innocent human beings, and certainly will not tolerate forced funding of these kinds of abortion mills like Planned Parenthood.
Well, the news is out. Planned Parenthood is not a women's organization. Planned Parenthood hurts women and it kills babies. The facts are the facts. Texas gets that now. Other states are starting to get it too. I know Indiana, Ohio, I believe there are multiple states that are now lining up and saying we are going to defund Planned Parenthood. They and other states need to look to Texas, follow what Texas is doing, and again apply that direct pressure. And ultimately, God willing, I think eventually this abortion Goliath will hopefully at least be weakened enough that lives might be saved.
And now that the election is over, and you might want to take a breather from this most recent election with all the activity and the ads that you've been hearing, I want to encourage pastors and church leaders and others in churches all over the country to begin looking for people who you believe are called to run for office, people who are ultimately savvy enough, have the passion and the solid foundational convictions to run for office. Oftentimes, Matt, we wait until the election or the primaries, and then we look up and we say, well, the person who's the best to be in this primary is not there, so I don't have the person that I really want to vote for. The person in the general election is not the ideal person I want to vote for. We wait too long. Right now is the time where we need to start building those foundations, finding those peoples, and certainly pastors are in a great position to be able to know who's in their congregation and start talking to those men and women about whether or not God is calling them to run for office. We need people who are principled. Governor Rick Perry in Texas is a Christian. He is very solid in his convictions. And, of course, he and others in Texas is the reason why this happened. And we need people like that all over, from every level, from the lowest level all the way up to the highest level of our country. When people start to realize that nobody else is going to do it, maybe I need to be the person to step up. I'm so blessed, and you are, and we're so blessed to be part of Liberty University School of Law, where we see students come from all over the country, oftentimes with the intention of getting their law degree, ultimately with the goal of running for office at some point in time. These are young people who have said, a difference needs to be made, and I feel the Lord is calling me to be the person to make the difference. Anybody listening right now can do that. If you are operating from a Judeo-Christian worldview and you want to affect positive change in public policy, either run for office or get someone who is like-minded and encourage them, somebody with the means, the wherewithal to do it, to run for office. And by the way, we launched with Liberty University School of Law and the School of Government the Master of Arts in Public Policy, and you can take that online anywhere in the country. So I would encourage you to find out more about that, to learn more about public policy, elections, and the other political issues that you'll need to know if you run for a statewide or national office. Go to Liberty Counsel's website And we have a number of websites, but our main website is lc.org, but we also have libertycounsel.com. Libertycounsel.com is a new website, and when you go there, you can get to all of our different various outreaches. You can get to Liberty Counsel, you can get to Liberty Counsel Action, you can get to Liberty Action Super PAC, you can get to all these different other programs and outreaches, Women Impacting the Nation. All of that is right there, plus a great news source at libertycounsel.com. So bookmark that along with lc.org. Also, make sure that you continue to remember Liberty Counsel in your prayers and your year-end giving. Liberty Counsel is a nonprofit organization. We are supported by individuals just like you. Go to libertycounsel.org for more information.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.